Gareth, good to see you. Your squad's been decimated by injuries, hasn't it? I mean, before you even able to pick a squad and since as well. But we did see Jude Bellingham, Cole Palmer and Jordan Henderson out there training. Can you update us on the squad fitness generally? But are those three specifically able to play 90 minutes, do you think, tomorrow night?
Hendo, probably not. Cole is back into training, so yeah, that's possible. Jude, yeah, absolutely. You know, he had cramp the other day, so he's missed quite a bit of football recently. So actually, he's ready for games.
Anybody else struggling?
No, everybody else has come through training, as far as I know. Yeah.
Okay, thanks. Declan, straight to you on the eve of this very special milestone. Huge congratulations for that first. I know you haven't quite done it yet, but we're hopeful. You got your first England start 5 years ago today against Macedonia. So 50 caps in 5 years is pretty extraordinary, really, especially when you're still only 25. What's the journey been like for you, and how important is this England for you?
So important. I think I've grown so much as a player and as a person since I first come into the group at 19. Was probably a bit of a nervous player when I first come into the England squad. But as time's gone on, you know, and I've played more Premier League games, more games at higher levels, big major tournaments. I think I've grown in stature in this side, and you know, I've enjoyed every single moment of it. You know, 50 caps is, you know, it's a pinch me moment. You know, it's going to be an honour tomorrow night, and yeah, I'm really looking forward to it.
You've become an integral part of the team for both your club and your country. And of course, they're both trophy hunting this season as well. By my reckoning, you've played 45 games already this season, with the business end still to come, and a Euros in the summer. That's more than anybody else in this England squad, by the way, 45 games. Do you feel that weight of pressure and the importance you are for both club and country? And do you ever worry about burnout?
Not at all. You know, I absolutely love it, to be honest with you. I think my first few seasons at West Ham, I played a lot of games back to back, got used to playing European nights and then playing on Sundays, so like 3 games a week, coming away on international breaks. So I absolutely love it. Every time you put on the shirt, whether it's for England, Arsenal, it's an absolute honour, and I want to play as many games as possible. You know, when I get to the end of my career, I want to look back and say that I've played X amount of games, and you know, hopefully have a long list of trophies to come with it as well.
Alex. Hi, Gareth. Ollie Watkins started the match the other night against Brazil. So is the match against Belgium Ivan Toney's chance to show what he can do?
Yeah, Ivan will be involved in the game for sure. So yeah, I have to say with everything that's happened, the original idea of plan for the week is a little bit different in that we're probably finding out about more players, but also that's really helpful. It's been to see all of those players against high level opposition will help us to make better decisions moving forward.
And the other night, Jude Bellingham got a lot of attention from the Brazil side, and you said he dealt with it very well and learned a lot of lessons. But is it also useful for the team to work out what to do when a creative player like that is targeted by the opposition?
Yeah, well, I mean, I think Conor Gallagher got fouled as many times as anybody in the game, so it was a different sort of a game. I think in a competitive game there would have been more cards, which would have stopped that. We could have ended up playing against 10 men, but in actual fact, it was a better exercise for us to play against 11. So 11 against 10 would have disrupted the experience for us, and it meant that we were really challenged right the way through the game.
And one for Declan, please. Hi, Declan. Gareth said after the Brazil match that you've gone to the next step in your career. Do you feel like you've gone to another level this season?
I think I've been playing consistently well throughout the season, for sure. I think my position's changed a lot in terms of, you know, what it was at West Ham compared to now. In terms of in a positional sense, it's very similar to what Gareth wants here, and you know, everything seems to be, you know, starting to click together much more in that position. So look, there's still so much room for improvement, so many things I can get better at. But you know, I'm really enjoying playing in the 6 and you know, in the 8 as well, scoring goals. So I'm enjoying being flexible.
Gareth, with Kyle Walker injured, can you tell us who will be your captain and why tomorrow?
Yeah, well, Declan is here. It's his 50th cap. He has great leadership experience already at a tender age. And I think it's a brilliant opportunity for some of our young players now to show leadership and to experience that where, some of our core group, Kane, Trippier, Walker, Maguire, not with us. So different feel about the group, different dynamic, and that's a great opportunity for other people to step up, to lead, to grow, and that's important because a lot of the players involved that are with the squad now, they're the future of the team as well for the mid and long term, and the more of those experiences they can have, that's really helpful for everybody.
Declan, your reaction and how it will feel to walk out of that tunnel at Wembley, and your message to the fans who will be looking for a big showing before the squad's named.
Yeah, look, it's speechless, to be honest with you. I'm absolutely lost for words. I think when he said to me last night I was going to be captain, I gave him a hug, shook his hand and said, thank you very much. I owe him a lot since I've first come into the team. He's always made me feel at home. I've always felt so comfortable playing under him, and like I said, I've really grown in confidence. So on my 50th cap to walk out of Wembley in front of my family, my friends, it's an absolute honour. I think you can see it by my face. A bit speechless, to be honest with you.
Actually, sorry. This is sponsored by the Alzheimer's Society today of the match going out. Sorry, I'm already losing my words. The players won't wear shirts on the back of their names on the back. Sorry. The players will not wear names on the back of their shirts as they come out of the second half for the Alzheimer's Society. Just like to say as someone who's worked a lot with them and how England have been so supportive to me and my family, how much it means to so many that sit around the telly and don't have words and don't have names. But what does it mean to you and your partnership of what you've been doing with them?
Yeah, well, it's sadly probably a charity and something that we're all going to deal with family, with friends. It's an increasing reality of life that Alzheimer's, dementia is going to affect us all in one way or another. So it's been great for us to be able to raise the awareness of the charity, and I know lots of families who have benefited from that and who've had some really difficult experiences looking after their loved ones. You can't begin to imagine how much energy, how much emotion, how much time it takes to look after your family in those situations. So, yeah, we're really pleased to be able to raise that awareness.
Thank you. James?
Hi, Gareth. You mentioned obviously the injury problems. Is this just a bit of a freak set of circumstances, or do you think this should maybe focus the spotlight on the debate about the number of English players that are kind of eligible to you? Because that debate's sort of gone a bit quiet in the last few months.
Yeah, I don't think that's for now. It's for us to make the best possible decisions with the players we have available, and you can't worry about what we haven't got. You've got to move forward. So, yeah, there's a lot of different reasons for those injuries as well. I think it's more complex than just people are looking back to a Winter World Cup, but every individual situation is different, frankly. So, yeah, it's an incredible number that are unavailable to us. Haven't experienced that before. But as I said earlier, that means there's opportunities for other people, and we saw against Brazil people really step up and take those opportunities, which is great for us as well.
Do you worry, though, about the load that some of your players are going to have going into the summer? Because you worked so hard in past summer tournaments at giving them a break and making sure they are fresh, but you're not going to have that time this summer, are you?
Well, our plan is still to give players time psychologically to recover, which is the biggest aspect, I think, at that time of the year. We're always mindful how we manage the players, and again, we have to adapt our plans to whatever happens. We've had clubs in the Champions League finals before. We had a World Cup with only 4 or 5 days prep last year, so it is increasingly challenging at international level, but as I said, we've got to make the best possible decisions with the hand we have.
And given it will be a bit of an experimental lineup tomorrow, and you're obviously working towards the summer, how important is it that the fans at Wembley tomorrow sort of stay with the team and keep that bigger picture in mind?
Well, I think they did. Watching the game back, 75 minutes or so, national anthem was being sung. I think people in the stadium recognised we had young players coming onto the pitch. We were still playing really well. We were actually comfortable in the game, in control of the game, and of course one devastating counter-attack changed all of that feel. So what we've had to say with the team is look at all the aspects of the game that we did really well, and there were lots. But of course in that final third we didn't produce that moment of quality, the final pass, the final cross, the finish. And ultimately that's where you win matches, and against the very best you're not going to get a lot of chances. You might get 4 or 5 shots on goal in one of those really big games. They were the same. It was the same the France-Germany game when you look through it. So you have to be clinical in those moments at both ends of the pitch.
The fans were supportive. There were a few paper planes thrown though. Did the paper planes bother you?
Yeah, but I saw a couple of those after about 10 minutes. So, yeah, I'm not a big paper plane man, so I couldn't look at the designs to pick up any tips. But yeah, I don't know. It's we've had that throughout. I don't think it always reflects the game. I think people can do as they please with their paper planes.
And you talked before about the sort of lack of number 6s available to you. Does it complicate things at all for you that probably the best option sitting to your left is often playing as an 8 as well as a 6 for Arsenal? Does that change anything or make it?
No, it's brilliant for him. We know it's something he's capable of. He is a good finisher. You know, we've seen that in training sessions that we've had. Clearly, when Calvin's been available and playing at a high level, he's given us another option as a 6, and we're trying to find. Hendo has done that as a 6, but not available to us this time. So we know that he can play it in a more advanced role, Deck, but he's also improved so much as that 6. Training, I think, with good players every day, working with his coach at his club on those receiving areas, on the timing of making himself available to be available behind the pressure. So you can see his game maturing in that aspect, which of course we benefit from as well.
And just one to Deck, if I can, on that. Congratulations on the 50th cap tomorrow. What are the challenges between switching between those two roles for 6 and 8, and does it change anything when you come back to England and play more as a 6?
For Arsenal, they're two completely different roles. The way Mikel wants his 6 to play is so different to how he wants his 8 to play. I think at times when I've been playing one up recently, I've been the highest man up the pitch in some occasions, and that's unnatural to me. But I've been learning, and I've been really, really enjoying it. I've said all along, I think my strongest position is 6. That's where I've built my career. That's where I feel really confident. But every time Mikel says at clubs that I'm going to play 8, I'm really excited. Want to go forward, score goals, drive with the ball, and I'm lucky I can play both. But there's still big areas for improvement in both, which I'm looking forward to doing.
Thank you. Good luck.
Thanks, James. Jack Pitbrook.
Hi, Declan.
Hey.
Can you just expand a little bit on what specifically you've learned with Arsenal that you can take into your international career?
Yeah, I think just like I said, the way our manager at club wants his number 6 to play. I think you look at the best 6s in the world. Obviously, Man City, Rodri, arguably the best. How he plays, how he's always central, how he always connects between the back line and the forward players. How he's always in the middle of the pitch. You're always trying to learn and be that main player. A lot of the play comes through me, and it's about being present and always wanting the ball. And I think the more I've played this season under Mikel, I've gained that confidence, and I've got better every time he's asked me to do it.
And Gareth, since how does Declan's evolution compare to what you first envisaged when you brought him into the team in 2019?
Well, first we had to convince him that it would be a good decision. And I think that's been borne out by the tournaments we've been in and the huge matches he's played in. I mean, if I think back to some of the early big games, which almost every match was the biggest game of his life. Now he's won a European trophy. He's now involved with big matches at his club, as has been said, in the run-in and still in the Champions League. And of course, still huge matches with us as well. So he was a converted centre-back at that time, I would say, and slowly he's learning to stay higher and higher, not needing to come outside the press to receive, not requiring as much time with the ball to make decisions. He's always had good techniques, but some of it is just being in that orientation of the field more regularly and getting a feel of it and playing in there. And the more touches you get, the more hours you spend, and the more you can master it. But there is obviously, as he says, this technical detail and tactical detail as a 6, as an 8, as a centre-back that's completely different. So it's that 360 game that the very best in those positions are really aware of. He's got one at his club in Jorginho, Rodri, of course. So they've been doing it all their lives. Dec's a little bit more converted into that and is doing brilliantly with it.
And did you sense leadership potential in him the first time you saw him?
Yeah, no question. You get a feel for a human being, and often their family play a big part in that. You with Dec, you could sense that stability, maturity in the decision-making process that he was going through. And of course has led from a very young age at West Ham as well. So he's already gained some good experiences, and I'm pushing him in that aspect as well, because it would be easy to take a little step back because we've got a lot of older players here, but some of our young ones have got great leadership already, and they're more than entitled to be bossing the older ones around a little bit as well, and demanding of them and of us as a coaching staff, and driving the team. And he's got all those qualities and the respect of everybody to do that.
Thanks, Jack. Rob, do you want to come for the last couple?
Declan, you've evolved with this England team, it feels like, over those 50 caps. And you've seen this England team go from strength to strength, coming closer than any England team ever has to winning a major trophy since 1966. With this Euros in mind, and you having seen that evolution, do you think England are closer now than they ever have been?
I think it's the talk of the town before every major tournament for England. That's the pressure that comes with playing for England. I think if you look at the players that we have now, look at the level everyone's playing at in terms of form. Everyone's in really good form. Everyone's playing really well for their clubs. We've been in close at a World Cup, narrowly lost to France, obviously lost the Euro final. I think we're close now. I think we really are close. England of a few years ago, I think Gareth was saying to us before the Brazil match, I think last time Brazil come to Wembley, it was like 40% possession, sit back and counter-attack. And, now we're a team that want to take the ball, want to attack, want to be a real threat. And going into this tournament now, we also have major winners, people that have been there and done it at the highest stage. So, look, it all counts on us at the end of the day. We're the ones that have got to go out there and perform, and I'm sure we're really capable of being able to go to Germany and, deliver history.
And Gareth, last one, if that's okay. You mentioned there you were a little bit disappointed with the final ball, perhaps against Brazil, having got into some good areas. Had an awful lot of set pieces as well, from the number of fouls that were committed. And England have always been great under you for set pieces. I remember World Cup in 2018 and just how many goals you scored from that.
Yep.
Is that a concern? Is that something you need to work on, maybe?
It's something we have looked at a lot over the winter, actually, because we haven't been delivering in the same numbers over the, definitely the last 12 months, and in particular against the highest level of teams. So, of course, the highest level of teams defend those set plays better. Brazil defended their box really well the other day, not only from set plays, but when we got in dangerous areas, they dealt with the cutbacks really well. So, their midfield and defenders did a very good job on that. But our delivery has to be more consistent, and there's lots of elements of runs, timing of runs, quality of delivery. There's so many aspects to a successful set play that have to be right. We will have more time to work on all of those things ahead of the summer, but it's definitely an area we've got to be better because for the number of set plays we had, we didn't create enough clear chances the other day.
Okay, we'll end it there. Thank you very much.
Thank you.